Hi guys! If you don't know me, you might not know that I read a lot of books. You couldn't tell by my romance bookshelf or my other bookshelf over that side. Yeah, I just read a lot of books. And that could cause quite a few dilemmas where I will buy every book in sight. Yeah, it's bad. So today I thought I would give myself a reality check and go through all the books that are on my physical TBR. So without further ado, let's just get started. So I have two different bookshelves in my room that are dedicated to the books that I have not read yet. So if we just turn you around. Alrighty, so the first bookshelf is this one right here. It's just a nice small little shelf which is overfilling with the amount of books that I have on it. So these books over here, not that shelf, because that shelf is all my like crystal books. But this and these, still all books I haven't read. And that's not all, because I am obviously a fictional girly. I love my fiction books. But I have no room in my TBR bookshelves for any more books. So what do? I keep all of my non-fiction books here. I have not read all of them. So let's just get started. I think we're gonna start with the shelf that is next to my desk. Now this shelf specifically is more of my immediate TBR and books that are part of a series that I have not finished. So the first books that are on my TBR is the rest of the Throne of Glass series. Now if you're not familiar, Sarah J Maas has written a series, it's called Throne of Glass. There are 8 books in the series. And I read all 5 last year, and then I got up to the tandem read. And if you don't know what a tandem read is, pretty much it is where you read, for example, 3 chapters of this book, and then you go and read 2 chapters of this book. Then you go back to the 3rd chapter on that book and keep reading until like chapter 7. And then you go back to the 2nd chapter and read from chapters. You are basically switching between these 2 books constantly. And I do have it all tabbed. I have my little reference sheet right here. It's right there. A little reference sheet to see how far in I am. These 2 books, Empire of Storm and Tower of Dawn, they are the books that that is recommended to a tandem read. So the main reason why I haven't gotten to those is because a tandem read is just so intimidating for me, but I know it's going to be so worth it. Then we have obviously the final book, which is Kingdom of Ash, and obviously I can't read that until I read these ones, so it's a balancing act. So these 3 all count as one book in my head, even though I know that they are 3 different books. So following on from that theme of books in the series is The Modern Fairy Tales by Holly Black. This is kind of an accompaniment to the Cruel Prince series by Holly Black, which I read a while ago, and I also read The King of Elfame and, oh I forgot that one, The Stolen Heir. I have read those 2 as well, but this is kind of like another installment of that world, and it's 3 books in one, this one. And they are called 3 or 4, I believe. And they are called Tithe, Valiant, Ironside, and the Lament of Looty-Loo. So all up, this book is around 785 pages. And yeah, it's just intimidating to me because I didn't exactly love this series, and I have a problem where I buy all the series before I start reading the book, which you will see. Then we have Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. Now this is the 5th book in the Magnolia Park series. So we have Magnolia Park's Daisy Hates, Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, then it's Daisy Hates The Great Undoing, and then it's Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. So it kind of goes Magnolia, Daisy, Magnolia, Daisy. I prefer Daisy's point of view, hence why I haven't started this one yet, because I have also heard that it's painful. And with the way that these books end, I just know that it's going to be emotional damage, really. So then going along, again, with this theme of series that I need to finish, is You Said I Was Your Favourite, which is a part of the Lancaster Prep series. It's the 5th book. And I read these a while ago, and I don't know if I like them or not. I think I enjoyed them when I read them, but I don't know if my taste as a reader has developed and I'm not gonna enjoy them at all. So that's the main reason why I haven't read it. And I've also forgotten about all the characters, and that's the same with Throne of Glass. I've kind of forgotten about all the characters because I read it so long ago, so I know I need to start reading this. But this one is about Daisy, and I want to say it's about the younger brother or the younger cousin. I don't exactly remember how it's all interconnected. But then we have The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I have already seen the movie in cinema, and my plan was to read the book before I saw the movie so I could, you know, make comparisons, and I get scared really easily, so I wanted to be prepared for the movie, but I did not end up reading it. So this is basically a prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy. It's about President Snow. I'm pretty sure it's in his POV for the majority of the book, and I'm excited to read it. I just have not been in the mood to read it. Hence why it's on my physical TBR. Then we have the next two Divergent books. So this is Insurgent, and then this one is Allegiant. And I read Divergent at the end of last year, and I didn't really love it. I don't remember what I rated it, but I didn't really love it, and I didn't immediately want to go into the next one. So I think I'm more of a Hunger Games girly, which I've heard if you're a Hunger Games or a Divergent girly. I'm definitely a Hunger Games girly. They're the next two. Someone tell me to read these. Someone forced me to read these. And then finally, to finish off all the series that I need to finish, is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the second book to Divine Rivals. It came out recently, I want to say, and I haven't heard much about it, surprisingly. Well, like as much as Divine Rivals, because I feel like Divine Rivals got so much hype, and I have literally not seen anything about this book, if it's good or not. So I'm just a bit hesitant to go into it, because I didn't love Divine Rivals. I still recommend it. It was still a great book, but I didn't love it. So I'm like really interested to see, because I still remember the cliffhanger and everything, so I'm really interested to see how that is. So now we are going to move on to the books that I'm somewhat in. Like I've somewhat read them and I've somewhat started them. They've been soft DNFs, but I just have not gotten back into them. The first book is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Gomez. I think I got a good almost 100 pages into this book, and I think I'm going to listen to it on the Spotify audio book because I just can't sit down and read this, and I feel like it would be a good audiobook to read. This one is about, it's set in the 60s, yeah, the 1960s, and this woman, Elizabeth Stott, is a chemist, and she's one of the leading professionals of her time who are female, and I think it turns into her having a cooking show or something like that. I know it's also a movie on Apple TV, so I'm really interested to see, like to eventually watch that once I finish the book. Then we have The First to Die at the End and They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I did read this when I initially started reading in 2021. It was one of the first books that I read, and I think because of that I truly did not understand or appreciate what the book was and what the book was about. So I DNF'd it like hardly. I did not like this book at all. I don't want to say hate because again that could just be my reading taste, but I just didn't enjoy it at all. So I really want to reread it, and I thought that if I read the prequel book, which is The First to Die at the End, and then went into They Both Die at the End, like if I really enjoy this book then I might reread it, but if I don't enjoy this book I'm not going to read it. So that's why they're together. Then we have As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. So I did start reading this. I think I got like 5 chapters in, but I'm really scared that I've already seen spoilers for this and I kind of know what's going to happen. Obviously I don't know because I haven't fully checked, but I'm so scared to read this, and as you know I am not good with horror. I don't like horror movies. I don't watch scary things, like anything scary, no, just no. Yeah, this book scares me. Then we have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have not seen anything about this book. This book was a book that my boyfriend picked for me when we went book shopping, and I started reading it, but I was reading Caraval at the same time, and they're very similar in the circus theme, and I didn't want to get Caraval mixed up with this book. So I started it and then I just put it down. Then we have The Brothers Hawthorne by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a part of the Inheritance games. I enjoyed the Inheritance games. I thought it was really interesting. Very fast paced, very quick, easy reads. But I got into this book and I don't know what I was expecting, but I think my expectations did not meet what this book is giving. I got like 150 pages in. Soft DNF for now. I just want to read it just purely to finish it, and I don't know if that's how I should be going about reading, so that's why it's kind of just sitting there for now. And then the final book that is kind of on that bookshelf is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I did start reading this because my friend Mia, this is her favorite book of all times, and I really wanted to start reading an enjoyment, but like I started reading it and I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about it, so I stopped because I really want to try and enjoy this for her, but I'm really scared that I'm not going to be able to. So yeah, that's all the books that are on my like immediate TBR. So I kind of do series that I'm in the middle of. I kind of want to finish them before I start any more series, and then also books that I'm kind of halfway through, so I don't feel like I'm committing to too many books at a time. So now we're going to move on to my TBR shelf. Now this shelf is where books go immediately. It's the first place that they go. It's mainly full of like series I have never read. Majority of them are series. There's a couple individual books, but majority of them is just series books. So let's start with the first series that I have on here is, oh my god, it's so heavy. The Twilight series by Stephenie Meyer, and I have never read Twilight before. Purely look at the size of these books. Are you joking me? How am I gonna, anyways. I'm just really interested to see what the whole hype of Twilight is about. I've heard that the books are terribly written, but I kind of love that about them. It's reminiscent of their time. I have not started it purely because I'm in the middle of so many series at the moment. In a similar fashion, we have the Shadowhunters series by Cassandra Clare. This series is so incredibly popular. I don't know anyone who hasn't heard of it or hasn't read it. And my mum has read these books, and she gave me the ones that she had bought because initially she was borrowing them from the library. This series is like 17 books deep, and like it's all intricate, and I have obviously not bought all the books yet, so they are just sitting on my shelf waiting to be read. But I fear that I need to be very prepared to go into a series like this. Maybe I will at some point this year, but I got a feeling this series is going to be a next year thing, unless someone can convince me to start reading it. On that same wavelength, we also have Cassandra Clare's new book, which is Swordcatcher. My mum read this book, so now I have it. It's kind of how it goes with some of these books. My mum buys them and then I just have them now, so I've got to read them. And this one is completely irrelevant to the Hunter series, so I'm almost tempted to read this and see if I like her writing before I go and commit to buying 17 books. Then we go on to some more light-hearted books. So we have In the Summertime by Maeve Harron. This book was picked out to me by my friends when we were on holiday in Middleton because they ran out of books to read, and I obviously need a book to read. So my friend Caitlin picked this book. I have no idea what it's about. It just gives off summer vibes. I was planning on reading it in the summer, but it's about a marriage falling apart, and she goes on holiday in a small seaside town, but the only catch is she must try and solve the mystery of the valuable antiques disappearing from a remote manor house belonging to an old lady called Morty. So it's kind of like a mystery. That's kind of cool. I thought it was a romance. We have some books by K.L. Walther? I'm not sure. And we have The Summer of Broken Rules, Maybe Meant to Be, and What Happens Midnight. I've seen the covers of these books literally everywhere, and I think they are so cute. Like, look how, this is so pretty. No idea what they're about. I've heard good things, I think. I just remember seeing them everywhere, so I was like, well, now I have to get them. Which is such a bad mentality. Then we have just some random little standalones. So we have One True Love by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This author has written Daisy Jones and the Six, Carrie Soto is Back, what are the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And I'm just really interested to see what her adult romances are like, because I know she's got a couple. The next book is The Wedding Crasher by Abigail Mann. I randomly picked this book up at a small bookstore, and I just thought the concept was interesting. Yeah, she crashes a wedding and it goes from there. I'm not too sure what it's about, so I was really intrigued by it though, and it was cheap. It was like $8. Then from the same bookshop we have The Fastest Way to Fall by Denise Williams, and it looks like it's kind of a workplace romance. Then we have Canadian Boyfriend by Jenny Holiday. Now this book is a book that my boyfriend got for me when he was in Canada, and he thought, perfect book, he's in Canada. And it looks like it's an ice hockey romance, so of course I am going to love it. Then we have Betting on You by Lynn Painter. Lynn Painter is a very popular author. I have read majority of her books. I'm not sure if I've read her entire backlog, but I've read Better Than the Movies, The Do-Over, the 2 adult romance, The Wrong Number, and The Love Wager. So I've read those ones, and I really like her writing, so I'm really excited to read this book as well. So the next couple books that I have are by Abby Jimenez. I've been wanting to read her books for such a long time, and on Boxing Day, Dimmicks and QVD had a sale, and I was like, this is the perfect time to grab these books because they're not in Big W or Kmart for cheap, and they're rather expensive, but I've heard such good things about them. So we have, in no particular order, Yours Truly, Life's Too Short, Part of Your World, The Friend Zone, and the Happy Ever After playlist, which I think I've heard the most about the Happy Ever After playlist. And then also her new book, it looks stunning, and I'm so excited to read that. But apparently these are all interconnected as well. Kind of pisses me off that this is a different color and the rest is that font, but that's fine. And yeah, I'm just really excited to start reading these. And then the final like romance genre that is on my TBR shelf is the Me Before You series by Jojo Moyes. And this is books that my mum gave me. She loved them. I know the concept of Me Before You. I know it's really sad. Yeah, I'm curious. I want to know what it's about. So it's Me Before You, After You, and Still Me. So now we have some mystery books that are on my TBR. So this is the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson. I think Haley Pham and I want to say Sarah Corelli talked about these a while ago, and I'm really interested because apparently it's like a dark academia vibe. And yes, I bought all of the series before I even read them. I'm excited to start reading them. I have no idea what they're about. I just know they're set in a school setting, and it's kind of like a big mystery that goes on, kind of giving like Wednesday vibes. Then we have Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. So it's House of Blood and Earth, House of Sky and Breath, and House of Flame and Shadow, which recently came out. And I really want to read all of Sarah J Maas's books, and it's kind of said that you go ACOTAR, Throne of Glass, and then into Crescent City. So I haven't started that purely because I haven't finished Throne of Glass yet. But they came out with the third one, and I was like, well, I like these covers better than that AI covers. I'm not sure if they're AI or not, but they're kind of ugly. I'll show you a picture here. But I really wanted the American covers, and I was like, well, what if I don't get them? Like, what if I don't get them and they're all sold out because of the new book? So then I went and bought all of them in hardcover. So then we have this Chloe Gong series. I'm not sure what the series is called, but the first one is Foul Lady Fortune. Then we have Last Violent Call and Foul Heart Huntsman. Apparently this is in the same universe as These Violent Delights, which I really enjoyed that little duology. So I'm really interested to see what this one is about. The next book that I have on my physical TBR is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole. I'm not going to pronounce her last name because I always butcher these last names. But I have heard heaps of good things about this, and I know a second one is coming out soon, or has come out. I really like the concept, and I've seen a lot of things about it. So that's the reason why I bought it. Same situation for this book. This book is I Am Widow by Ziranjay Zhao. I definitely pronounced that wrong. This one is kind of like a mystical, Asian-inspired book. I mean, Chloe Gong is up the top saying absolutely epic. So I heard a lot about this when I initially was on BookTok and everything like that. Have not heard anything since, so I'm really interested to see what that one is about. Awesome. Then we have Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. This book was gifted to me, the special edition was gifted to me by my lovely friends at Cheer, and I obviously can't read the special edition, so I had to buy the paperback, and I am so interested in it. Then we have Circe by Madeline Miller. This is based on Greek mythology, I believe, and I've heard really good things about it. I did read The Song of Achilles by her and I did not like that at all. So I'm hoping I enjoyed this one. If I don't, then I guess I know. 2 more books, guys, 2 more books. So then we have A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross. The first book to this is A River Enchanted. And I purely bought this because look how pretty the cover is. Are you kidding me? That displayed on my bookshelf. Gorgeous. But they only had the second one. So I'm looking for the first one, preferably in a large paperback. I have found it in a small paperback. And that is really upsetting because if I have to get that in a small paperback, then I'm going to have to get this in a small paperback. But it might be okay because then I can still display this one and put those 2 there. I have a problem. Finally, for my fiction books, the last book is Never by Jester Hastings, the same author as the Magnolia Park series. And it's based on a Peter Pan reimagined type scenario. It's based on Peter Pan, and I have not heard good things about this book. Honestly, I've heard that the male main character is just very, very unlikable. I guess we'll see if I like it. Now we're going to move on to the non-fiction books that are on my TBR. Here we go. Alright, let's speed run this because I have no idea what any of these are about, but I'll try and do this in a sentence. So first, The Magic. This is based on The Secret and it's all about manifestation. I think this is actually like a 30-day process that you can do to manifest something into your life. Very interesting. I really want to do it. Have not had the chance to do it. Then we have another The Secret book, which is The Secret to Love, Health and Money, a masterclass. Again, all about manifestation. I'm really interested in it, so that's those. Then we have Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. And my mum gave me this book. That's all. Then we have How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is a very popular book that I've seen a lot and heard a lot about it. So I just bought it. Then we have Emma Cree, The Girl Who Fell from the Sky. I love Emma Cree. I have her art, like all of that drawing there and the pictures above my desk. I love her art, so stunning. She's from Australia. She's a paraplegic that fell out of the sky and survived on a skydiving accident overseas, and she's just such an inspirational person, so I'm really excited to read this. Then we have How Not to Diet by Michael Greger. I picked this up at the thrift store because I think the one I was thinking of was How Not to Die. This is the one I was thinking of. I'm not sure which one it was. I don't know what it's like. Then we have Winging It by Emma Isaac. Same situation, found it at a thrift store. Thought it sounded interesting, businessy, I don't know. And then the final one is The 52-Week Project, and it's about how she fixed her life by trying a new thing every week for a year by Lauren Keenan. And this just sounded interesting because I'm like doing something new every week, like that's 52 things, like kind of cool. But that is all of the books on my physical TBR. I should probably count them. Let's count them. 72 books, I believe, that are on my physical TBR. Eventually, I want to finish it all, get rid of it all. But this is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed me talking about all the books that are on my physical TBR. Let me know how many books are on your physical TBR. I literally want to buy so many books and read so much books, but I know myself and I know that I really need to finish the books on my physical TBR. I think that's all. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully I've been staying consistent. I'll see you soon. Bye.